It should be noted that the teachings of the Gnostic Illuminati, eumystical as they are, closely parallel many of the scientific reality-based teachings of the Scio Illuminati. This is by design, of course. This provides a eumystical framework, which is nonetheless often in accord with reality in important ways, which 1. Resonate with the modern mystical mind, and 2. Are craftily designed to help propel the less mystically minded individual to abandon mysticism altogether, and formulate a fully reality-based view of reality. This newly formulated reality-based view will be very similar in some general aspects to the eumystical view which was rejected. Mystical immortal non-physical soul, versus non-mystical immortal physical Zon. The Gnostic Illuminati promotes the mystical concept that each individual has an immortal soul, which evolves over time from an essentially unconscious entity, to a godlike entity. This has important parallels with the non-mystical Zon concept, first publicly introduced by Frank R. Wallace, in his Neo-Tech writings. Zon is a term used to describe any conscious being, such as a human, who thinks and acts in a completely non-mystical, rational, objective, reality-based manner. In the original formulation of Wallace, this completely non-mystical approach was defined as fully integrated honesty. Here is a quote regarding Zon, from the book Zonpower from Cyberspace, by the Zon Association. Zon is a collective word related to the fully integrated honesty of Neo-Tech and comprises 1. The civilization of the universe, 2. Those operating from its wide-scope perspective, and 3. The power required to control existence, the integrated power to gain limitless wealth and eternal happiness. Zon is the mind of God. Zon is you. Just to be completely clear on this issue, despite the quite grandiose language, including the part about the mind of God, used above, Zon is absolutely not a mystical concept. It is the identification of the fact that, through a strict adherence to self-honesty, never allowing one to lie to or to deceive oneself in any manner, one will operate in complete accordance with rationality and reality. Taken to its logical conclusion, this will lead to an ever-increasing understanding and mastery of all aspects of reality. Ultimately, this will lead to a godlike state of control, hence, Zon is the mind of God. Zon is a collective term, in that it may refer either to a single individual Zon, or it may refer, collectively, to every Zon. Thus, a group of completely rational individuals may say of themselves, "We are Zon." The civilization of the universe refers to the society which is created by Zon, and which may already exist throughout the universe. The opposite of the civilization of the universe is any society created by mystics, known as the anti-civilization. Zon exists only as a result of a long process of evolution. Life on Earth initially evolved from inanimate matter, and then from the simplest of living things to ever more complex organisms, and eventually to human beings. This evolution will continue, albeit directed volitionally rather than by natural selection, as individuals increasingly reject mysticism and embrace reason and reality. This will naturally result in ever-increasing understanding and control of reality, and ultimately, in various forms of physical immortality, and eternally upwardly expanding forms of happiness, fulfillment, and pleasure. This is the natural evolution of conceptually conscious beings, when freed from the fetters of mysticism. This has key parallels with the Gnostic Illuminati's eumysticism of immortal eternal souls developing from essentially unconscious entities, into godlike entities. In fact, the mystical concept of the transmigration of souls, or metempsychosis, is often presented along with the claim that souls will be reincarnated essentially indefinitely, with each reincarnation being an opportunity for further development. Such reincarnation, it is taught, only ceases when the soul finally achieves a sufficient degree of development, and then exists in an essentially godlike state. These concepts of the Gnostic Illuminati regarding the eumystical soul have important parallels with the distinctly non-mystical concept of Zon, as embraced by the Scio Illuminati. It is natural for human beings to work to extend their lifespan, particularly if this means a longer, healthy, active life, i.e., a longer period of youthfulness, rather than simply extending old age. Medical science is certainly moving in this direction already. If taken to its logical extreme, this can only mean that ultimately humans will enjoy an essentially indefinitely extended youth, with degenerative aging and death essentially eliminated. This would be a form of eternal youth and immortality, achieved through the application of reality-based reason. Other forms of immortality, based on all sorts of biological, cybernetic, and other technologies are also possible. An important difference between these two types of immortality, i.e., that of the mystical soul, and that of the non-mystical Zon, is that the mystical immortality of the soul is held as given, and therefore allows one to be lazy regarding the need to do anything to attain immortality. The immortality of Zon, on the other hand, is not simply given. It requires rational, reality-based hard work to attain, and even then it requires some level of work to maintain. Yet, because it is the ultimate holy grail for any rational, living being, it is a task which the non-mystical Zon is compelled to undertake, once the actual possibility of immortality is recognized. The non-mystical Zon concept also has important parallels with the mystical God concept, although the God concept is approached somewhat differently by the Gnostic Illuminati and most traditional religions. The Gnostic Illuminati, as previously stated, eumystically presents God as being a soul which has already achieved its highest development. Traditional religions, particularly Abrahamic religions, depict God as having eternally existed in this highest state, therefore never having needed to undergo any period of development at all. The Scio Illuminati, on the other hand, completely dispense with mystical imaginary souls and gods altogether, and instead identifies on as the true highest development of consciousness, and conscious power. Consciousness, like life itself, evolves from the most simple and rudimentary to the most complex and highly developed. The rational reality-based Zon concept implies that seeking external divine authority or assistance is futile, and that any such authority or power which exists must originate from within oneself. Even the mystical role of creator has its parallels in Zon. While philosophical naturalism dispenses with all supernatural explanations regarding the creation of the universe, or any of the things within it, the concept of Zon has interesting implications regarding the possibility of the intentional creation of this, or any other, universe. Physics provides compelling arguments to indicate that the creation of a universe could become feasible, as Zon gains the necessary scientific knowledge and technological prowess.